this short intro is all you get today.
This is Benchmade 315 Successor, a knife I bought by accident. I already opened the box because I did a short video introducing this knife a couple weeks ago. And would you believe it, it hasn't left my pocket ever since. As a second knife, of course. I usually carry a larger and a smaller blade on me. This knife comes with a leather, natural leather, US made pocket slip, which also has a pocket clip. The pocket clip is removable from here and it can be installed on the knife itself, which I will do a little later. The reason I haven't swapped the clip onto the knife yet is because I am planning to take the knife completely apart and then test the blade for hardness on my benchtop Rockwell tester. This is an M390 blade, a very premium, stainless, super. I will show you a few comparisons. They're all slip joints. Starting with Spyderco UK pen knife. Size-wise, here you are. Basically, the length of the blade is maybe 6 millimeters shorter, 1/8 of an inch. The next knife I'll show you is ZT Anzo model 235. It's a non-traditional slip joint because, unlike all of these other knives, it doesn't have the spring in the back. The walk and talk, which is this thing, walk and talk, click, click, walk and talk. Anyway, it's achieved by a ball detent similar to a liner lock knives. Size-wise, it's basically, I'm going to say Benchmade has a little bit more blade length, maybe another 1/8 of an inch. Let me move these out of the way. And the only other two slip joints that I've ever carried in my pocket is this Bear & Son Barlow Delrin version and this MKM Burnley. Very cool knives, and here we are. Let's nerd out a little bit. Let's use this Newton meter or trigger gauge to find out what is the closing force on a Benchmade Successor. Here you go. 2.3 pounds to overcome the first detent. Let's check the second detent. Zeroed out. 1.4 pounds to overcome the second detent. The opening force seems to be mirroring the closing forces because the knife overcomes the same spring tension in both directions. So I won't waste a lot of time trying to set up the opening test. You'll have to rely on the closing data. Let's do a classical Victorinox. Let's see what it takes to close it. I got 1.7 pounds. And there's no secondary detent. Very smooth closing though. Let's do the classic case. Texas toothpick. Only 0.7 pounds. Let me double check that. Yeah, 0.6, 0.7 pounds. I think they did it so a gentleman could do this. Close it with one hand. And what I don't recommend closing with one hand is the Spyderco. Let me switch sides. The pocket clip is in the way. I'll show you why I don't recommend that in a second. Let's find out that force. I don't think it went cleanly. Let me do it again. I got 2.1 pounds of force to overcome the first detent. And let's do second detent, 1.4 pounds of force. Here's what I mean by risky business with single hand closing of UK pen knife. It just snaps all the way past the second detent. And if any part of your hand is in the way, it's going to hit it strong enough to break the skin. Here it is, one more time for your viewing pleasure. And please don't repeat any of my tests at home. They may lead to personal injury and damage to your knives. Alright, Benchmade Successor feels a lot tighter, but I have to try. I can force it to the first detent and then switch from index finger to the thumb, and trying to open it single-handed It only gets me to the middle detent, and after that, no matter what I do, I need a second hand to open the knife. So it will be legal just about everywhere. So I'll start the cutting demonstration with the easiest material to cut, which is printer paper. Just basic printer paper. Let's see. Ooh, nice swoosh. There was one little catch somewhere. Let's do it again. Because the knife is so narrow this way, and it's full flat grind, it's extremely slicey. This is a slicing machine. That's me. But let's move to coupon paper. You can hear there's not a catch. I guess the blade was a little dirty for my machinations. Even harder is to cut fluffy fibers material like a paper towel. It bites right in. Usually, before even looking at it under the microscope, when it's refusing to do continuous cut on a paper towel, that means they left a little bit of burr for me to strop off. My favorite test that I do based on paper towel tube availability is this. There's absolutely no notching going on here. I'm just going to see if it'll bite in and I can cut all the way through. Oh yeah. See what it did? It got caught on something in this paper. Let's do it again. Yeah, I got into the churl. Yeah, the blade is a little too short for these experiments. Let's do one more time. But only some of the sharpest knives can just go into the paper towel tube like this and do what it just did. That's why I see value in buying Benchmade Select Edge knives. They'll be marked on the box. It'll say here, featuring Select Edge. Let's get it under microscope and I'll tell you what it means. So here's my handheld microscope camera. I bought it on Amazon for under $25. It's USB-C compatible with any device such equipped. And it comes with its own app, which will pop up. A well-executed tip, a slight rounding off at the very point. It's not a needle point. Let's focus a little better. I wanted to see what kind of sharpening media they use, how rough or smooth it was, because it's a select edge. They typically use a finer grit, especially when compared to non-select edge, and get it all in one shot without damaging the blades. Yeah, see the difference? Here it is compared to Dacian, no stropping and much rougher sharpening media. You can see it on the right on the iPad's screen. In my mind, I have this question. If I sent this knife with a select edge to Benchmade for resharpening, which they do for free other than shipping, would it come back with a select edge or just a regular edge? I haven't tried that yet. If you have any experience with that, or if you are at Benchmade, please comment and let me know. I would at least request it in the note accompanying your knife to make sure the select edge is applied, because that clean, nice, well-developed apex is what you're paying for. I'm going to give it a little stropping using this Beavercraft double-sided strop that you can get on Amazon for less than 20 bucks, sometimes less than 16 bucks. And what I'm doing it is I'm running the blade on the smooth side to show me where all the burrs are. Those striations on the strop indicate where some stubborn burr was left on the apex. It looks about the same on the opposite side. So I will attempt to remove this burr, or at least weaken it until it pops off, using the strop. Let me see. I feel like there's like a deeper something going on there. And that's why I consider a good strop and a microscope essential to create good sharpening. Right here, you can see where the burr is rolled over to one side of the blade, and that's what was showing me striations on the strop. So if you only have strop with rough sides, you wouldn't be able to see it. The rest of the apex cleaned up nicely. Let me show you a 3D sort of image of this. Stay with it. There you go. You can see where that burr transitions to a very clean apex. I'm thinking I'm going to go on the rough side, speed up the video a little bit. Here I am trying to clean off or hone off that remaining burr. I don't count strokes. I'm just looking at the leather to see if it tells the tale. Let's remove this paste and flip it back over to the smooth side, smooth it out, and check again. I am basically in the clear. Almost all of the burr is gone. All right, let's see if my efforts led to improvement in cutting paper towel. Oh yeah, it bites right in. Let me see. So it went from 8 to maybe a 9, 9.5. And we can get a continuous cut now. But the key is, does it bite in? And it sure does. And it continues the cut with ease, like there's almost nothing there. My dog is awake. Here's that piece of paper towel tubing. Let's see if it bites better now. Let's go here somewhere. And that went a lot smoother. So, comments. What do you guys think about all this? Because it's a pen knife, basically, I'm going to sharpen a pencil with it. And see, this pencil is toast. And we'll see how it cuts after that. Okay. Let's sharpen this bad boy. And while I do this, I would like to thank my regular viewers, subscribers, and the channel members, and especially those of you who are generous enough to purchase a super like. Your generosity is both humbling and inspiring at the same time. Also, please, everybody, read the comments. My channel is blessed with some of the most knowledgeable folks in the knife community who comment on a regular basis. No issues. And I made a mess. And here's a quick look under the microscope at the edge after all the pencil batoning and sharpening, and preceded by stropping and honing. That's what it looks like. And here's the spot. You can see it clearly on the screen where it nicked the apex a little bit when I chopped through the graphite. All my hardness tests begin with verification of my Rockwell tester. I use this independently NIST certified block. It's serialized and it's marked to be at 62 HRC, 61.99 to be precise. So I set the 0, release the major load of 150 kilos, and 10 seconds later, this video is accelerated to X, I get the result. It's 62.1 HRC. Time for the blade test. Here it is. I picked the spot where I'll test it. The device is well within the allowable error of plus or minus 1/2 HRC repeatability, and it's reading the correct value, so we are good to go. Zeroing it out, and here we go. While you watch this accelerated footage on the screen, don't forget to hit the like button. It is 61.1 HRC, which is a pretty common heat treatment for M390 steel, as well as CPM 20CV, which is identical. Now, is it good or bad? The community is split on this one. 61.2 HRC on the second poke. On the one hand, this hardness is well within the range recommended by the steel's manufacturer, Böhler of Austria. But recommended for what? This steel was not developed as a knife blade steel. It was adapted by custom makers to be that. Let's see the third poke. It is 61.5 HRC, and the average is 61.3 HRC. Just to be on the safe side, I will recalibrate the device using the same block. So here's the conundrum. Benchmade always follows the steel's manufacturer's recommendations for heat treat protocol, but the community prefers higher hardness. Go ahead and sound off in the comments. What do you prefer? 62.1 HRC on the block. We are good. That was a good test. Shall we do some knife torture?
All right, let's verify that the blade is completely straight here. There's no bending as of yet. And I do it by sight and sound. I call it scientific boinking on my channel. I can feel, see, and hear that this blade is, I got two light sources giving this shadow. And now I'm going to use my little friend. This is a solid hardwood clamping block. And we're going to hammer it in about 1/4 to 3/8 inches. And there's a 15-degree angle set on this compass, so we're going to bend it to that angle. Man, it's like a spring steel. Feels like I can keep going. Let's go a little farther this time. I'm at about 22 degrees. Somewhere. Yeah. Okay, and now I'm going to do the torsional moment test. I'm going to twist the handle 3 times in each direction to see if stressing the internal components will damage them. It's 2 and 3. Here I go as far as I can go. And let's extract the knife. Okay, you can see I was actually 3/8 in, as I said. Looking at the shadow, I don't see any bending, but boinking will tell us. Dr. Boinking was a famous Ukrainian metallurgist. He came up with this scientific test. Of course, I'm just kidding. Please don't repeat it anywhere. I detect no issues. I detect no blade plate. No blade plate. Blade plate. Interesting. Obviously down it unlocks, but up there's no play. Just for shiggles, I am going to do the spine whack test. Metal contact style.
I don't think that destroying a knife completely to test the full capacity of the lock is necessary. I think that testing the lock in a way that represents the the maximum of sane and rational use with a tool is much more helpful.
I'm sorry, guys. Got to tease other YouTubers. Great channels, all of them. All right, so it passes with flying colors. I have no idea what else I can do to a slip joint. I can't do my real spine whack test on the pipe smasher. It didn't bend. You can see it didn't break. It didn't loosen up. Those T6 screws held up. And I don't know what else to tell you. It's a great knife.